author from the UK, and if my voice is croaky, it's because I've just recorded another video just before this one, because what could go wrong with recording 2 videos one after the other? I'm learning why people don't do this. Yes, so you may have already seen my cover reveal video, which I'm not sure if I'm putting it out on the same day as this one or the day before. Either way, it's recent. And in that video I said I was going to be relaunching my YouTube channel, which is what this video is about, and it's going to give you a taste of what you can expect going forward. So why am I relaunching? It's a very good question. Well, the first answer to that is because I haven't posted anything in ages. So I didn't want to just start posting again and not say anything about it, just pretend that the last couple of months didn't happen. The other thing I wanted to change was because I don't really feel comfortable doing reviews on here. I'm pretty good at picking up books that I know I'm gonna like, so all my reviews end up being, yay, this is really good, 5 stars. Oh yeah, I loved it, 4 stars. Or the other way around, whichever. But yeah, they always end up being like 4 and 5 stars, and I think if I did like normal reviews on here, the lowest you'd ever get is 3 stars. Because if I'm looking at a book and it doesn't appeal to me, I don't read it. Because I'm not like a professional reviewer, I'm not reviewing for a magazine or anything, so I can be selective in what I read. So it ends up with a lot of 4 and 5 stars. So I was thinking, if I'm not going to do reviews, what could I do? Maybe I could do writing tips. And then I laughed and laughed and laughed because I'm not qualified to do that. So we're not going to do writing tips. I thought I could talk about self-publishing, because I've done a bit of that, but I don't really feel like I'm an expert. So I think over time I'll probably give tips as I'm going through the publishing process with Everfrost and Creep. I'll probably do a couple of videos just saying, this is how I did this. You probably do this better than me. And that's that. So I'm not really like a self-publishing guru. So I'm not going to do reviews. I'm not going to talk about writing tips. I'm not going to talk about how you should self-publish your book. So what on earth am I going to talk about? And I thought about this for a long time. Far longer than I probably should have, because I thought, what would my channel have that no other channel has? And then it occurred to me, it has me! So if you don't like me, you probably won't like this channel. So yeah, that's it. So rather than having a bunch of reviews where I give everything 4 or 5 stars, what I'm going to do is take a leaf out of Cameron Chaney's book. Cameron is an excellent booktuber, and for his patrons over on Patreon, he does like little bookish vlogs, and I love watching them. I don't know why, but I do. I just love seeing what people are reading. I love seeing what people have bought, all of that stuff. So I thought I'm going to do something like that, but I'm going to do it on a weekly basis, and I'm just going to put it out there for everyone to see. So, vlogs. And I'm aware that I keep saying so quite a lot, and possibly ums. I'm so out of practice with doing these things, but I will get better. I'll get back into the swing of it very soon. But these vlogs, they're going to have like a bit of a structure to them, because I find if I'm just staring at a camera and talking, it all goes horribly, horribly wrong. And then I just end up talking about pixies and stuff, and it doesn't make any sense, and then things catch fire. It's just easier if we have a structure. So what is the structure going to be? It's going to be what I've read that week. Then it's going to be what I'm reading at the time of doing the video. Then it's going to be what I've bought. And you'll find the what I've bought section will be very long at the start of the month. And then it will fizzle out towards the end as I have no money. And then just to tie it all off at the end, I'm going to do an album of the week. And my reason for that is before I got into self-publishing, before I got into like sharing my stories with people that were not me, I used to run a webzine called Lucifer Speaks, where I'd review albums and I'd interview bands and all that sort of stuff. And although I don't do that anymore, I do still try and keep up to date with what music's coming out and what bands are like my cup of tea. I still follow a lot of the same people on social media, so I get to hear about new releases quite often, which is awesome. So, that was a long intro. Let's get into the vlog. So I've got 4 books that I've finished so far this week, as of Friday. The first one is, sorry, I've got this written down, so I keep looking down. I'm sorry. I'll get better, I swear. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. So the first one is The Grin in the Dark, which is part of the Spine Shivers series. This book's by J.A. Dark. I don't know if the other books in this series are by the same author or not. This one is a middle grade horror, and I read it because it was recommended by Cameron Chaney over on his channel, and he did a whole video about books you would like if you like Goosebumps, which is another interesting coincidence because I'm going to have a Goosebumps video soon, and you're going to see why in a minute. But he said that this particular book, this Grin in the Dark book, actually scared him, and I thought, I'm having some of that. So I bought it on Kindle. I read it in like an hour or so, and I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. And I don't know whether it was because he'd already said it was scary, so I went into it expecting it was scary, or whether it's because it's genuinely scary. But either way, the story stayed with me. And I have kind of a weird relationship with clowns. As you can see on the cover, there is a clown in this. There is a creepy, creepy clown in this. And one of my favourite horror characters is Pennywise from It. And in my room, I've got a load of Pennywise merch. So I've got various sizes of Pennywise action figures and dolls and stuff. And most of the time, I don't pay them any attention. But after I read The Grin in the Dark, I started looking at them. So, is he staring at me? Is he after me? So yeah, I think that book affected me a little bit. But it's definitely worth a read. And what I really liked about this is because it's a middle grade book, there are pages at the end with discussion questions. And I felt like I needed them at the end. When I used to watch The Walking Dead, I used to follow it up with The Talking Dead afterwards, which was like counselling to get through what you'd just seen. So maybe your favourite character had just died, but you could watch The Talking Dead and everything would be okay. There'd be people talking about it too, they understood. And when I got to the end of this book, and okay, I'm building it up now, it's not like the most terrifying thing you ever read, but for a middle grade horror, it was pretty creepy. And I got to the end of it and I thought, I need some kind of emotional support. And there was these questions at the end that look at different aspects of the story. I thought that's quite useful. I think we should have those kind of questions at the end of all books. Can you imagine it at the end of the next Stephen King book? There's a list of questions and maybe it starts with, so will you be planning your next trip to Maine? No! As I said before, I'm not going to do reviews here. I'm just going to kind of say what I thought about the book, which I guess is a review. But if you were to ask me, do I recommend this book? I would say yes, give it a go. It's going to take you like an hour of your life to read. Go for it. Next up is Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence, and it's the first book in his Broken Empire series. This has been on my TBR for ages, and I didn't realise quite how long I'd been thinking about reading it. I'd actually bought it when it first came out, and I've been thinking about reading it, and I went on to Goodreads to mark that I am now currently reading Prince of Thorns, and I found out that Prince of Thorns was released in 2011, which makes it 10 years old. It has taken me 10 years to read a book that I bought when it came out. That is shocking, and is another reason why I need a proper TBR, which I now have, and it's a nice nifty little spreadsheet that I will probably share with you in another video because I'm very fond of it. So, Prince of Thorns. It's very much grimdark. The characters we're introduced to do very, very questionable things throughout. The main character, his name's just gone. I want to say George. Spelled for J. We're calling him George. If it's not George, just yell at me in the comments. He's a teenage boy, and he's also a murderer and a rapist. The rape thing is kind of mentioned in a sentence and then it doesn't go back to it, so if that bothers you, then it's not going to come up again and again, so don't worry. So yeah, he's a really unlikable character. You're going to hate him. But there's something about him and the story and the way that Mark Lawrence writes that just makes you want to keep reading. You want to know what happens. You want to know if he achieves what he wants to achieve. And I don't think I'm going to know that fully until I read all 3 books. I think there's only 3. I need to check. So it looks like I'm going to need to buy the rest of the series. So what else have I read? Let's move away from that. I've read 2 Goosebumps books. I say read, they're audiobooks. And they're on Spotify, and I'll put the links down below so that you can listen to them. So I went for the Haunted Mask and the Ghost Next Door. And as I listen to them on audiobook, I have them on while I'm working on spreadsheets and stuff. And it really makes my spreadsheets more dramatic, I feel. So yes, I enjoyed both books. My favourite of the 2 is The Ghost Next Door. Just find that story quite unsettling. And having these audiobooks on Spotify has really made me realise that I love Goosebumps. If you've ever caught any of the episodes of Cryptids, Crypts and Coffee where we had Cameron Chaney, this is my Cameron Chaney episode, I'm sorry, where we had Cameron Chaney on and we talk about the 90s, I always said from that time I remember reading point horror books, and some of them were by R.L. Stine. And I always thought that I missed the Goosebumps thing completely. But since listening to the audiobooks on Spotify, I found that I remember a lot of the stories. And my sister remembers reading a Goosebumps book in my room. Like she told me the other week that she was sitting in my room on her own, reading a Goosebumps book, and I had this sticky ornament thing on my window and it fell off and scared her. As she was telling me the story, a couple of things went through my head. One, I did used to have Goosebumps books, and I did used to read them. I don't know why my brain blocked that out. Maybe there's one that really traumatised me and I'm going to find it again while I'm listening to them on Spotify. And the second thing I thought, well, it serves you right, you shouldn't have been in my room. Now I'm on this whole Goosebumps kick, and I was like, I need to get this book. And I remembered was it the Werewolf of Fever Swamp? That one was in my head. And there were a couple of others that I remembered, and I thought I'm going to hunt down those titles on eBay or something and just buy them. But before I did that, my other half, Mark, he went to a car boot sale and he bought some Goosebumps books for me. And because this weekend was a bank holiday weekend, there were 2 car boot sales, one on Sunday, one on Monday. And I ended up going to the one the following day as well. And now I've gone from owning no Goosebumps books to owning quite a few Goosebumps books. Now I'm sure you go through the channels on YouTube and find YouTubers who've got hundreds of the things. My little collection is going to be really pathetic compared to those. But I'm going to do another video probably next week showing what I picked up. And hopefully you'll be as excited about them as I am. Now, I'm not hunting down first editions or anything like that. These are just what I found. Next up is the stuff I bought section. Woohoo! So as I mentioned, I have bought a load of Goosebumps books and I'm going to save them for another video. But at that same car boot sale, I bought a couple more goodies. I got these 2. They're both part of the... what are they part of? The Bartimaeus trilogy, which is, I guess, it's either a children's or a young adult trilogy about a wizard boy and his friendly demon. I'm guessing he might be friendly. He says he's funny, cynical and totally out for himself. Maybe not that friendly. But yeah, these are books 2 and 3. I'd never heard of this series before, but they were 50p each. And I thought, I'm going to regret it if I don't get them. So I need to track down book 1. And even though it says it's a trilogy, I've actually found out there's 4 books. So I need to track down book 1 and 4. I've already had a little look online, and the annoying thing is that you can get books 1 and 4 quite easily, but they have a different cover design to the ones that are here. So, people of YouTube, if you know of anyone that's got books 1 and 4 with that kind of style cover, and they want to sell them, please let me know. I don't have any money to buy them at the moment because I spend all my money on books, as you'll see in a minute. So, the next lot of actual physical paperback books. Last Friday I went out to Waterstones for the first time since the pandemic began. It was quite emotional, I've missed it, and it was just nice to be in a room full of books that wasn't my room full of books. It's a public room of books. It was wonderful. And I went in there and I thought, I want to buy something. So I did. So the first book I picked up is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. I read the Shadow and Bone trilogy quite recently. I know a lot of people don't really like it, but a lot of people do like it, and that's why there's a Netflix series. But anyway, I'm going to do a video about that trilogy very soon where I talk about what I love about it and the bits that I didn't quite like. But I liked it enough to keep on reading, that's the important thing. So I've got King of Scars here, and I'm going to read that after I finish the Six of Crows duology, which shouldn't be too long now. I didn't stop at one book in Waterstones. Next up is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I think that's how you pronounce it. This has been on my TBR for a long time, this whole series. I was just going to get it as an ebook, but you know, I was there, it was on the shelf, it was right in front of me, I couldn't walk away, I had to get it. Next up this one is a total impulse buy. This is Daggerspell by Catherine Kerr. I'd not heard of this series at all. It's the Devery series. So I thought I'd give it a go. And I got home and I looked online to see if there were, like, how many other books there were. In fact, it does actually say in the beginning how many books there are, but I wanted to see for myself how many books there were and how much it would cost me to get them all. And I found out that it actually came out quite a while ago, and this is just like a reprint. But you know, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, it originally came out in 1986. I was 2. So I'm a little bit late to that party, but it sounds like the kind of thing I would enjoy. There's magic and betrayal and all that kind of stuff. So I thought I'd give it a go, and that cover is just beautiful. I'm a sucker for a good cover. Then I didn't stop there, but I did leave Waterstones. Here in the UK we have pound shops, and actually the one I visited the other day was actually a 99p shop, I think. Sometimes they have books. Oftentimes they have books that I'm not interested in, but this time they had a couple that I thought might be quite good. So the first one is A Second Chance by Jodie Taylor. I'm not sure if you can see it. Let me move that back a bit. It's very shiny. It's part of a series called The Chronicles of St. Mary's. Yeah, it just looks like it's really good fun. There's time travel, there's action, and apparently there's a murderous cheese rolling ceremony in Gloucester. So that could be a good read, and it's quite short. I don't know if I need to read the others in the series first for it to make sense. I need to have a look. But I did feel like I'd just walk away from it because I hadn't read the others. But then I thought, it's 99p or £1. I can't remember what shop I was in. I think it's a pound shop. It's £1. You're not going to get a better deal than that, are you? No, so I got it. And I thought, well, that's a nice short little read. Let's see if there's something meatier. And there was. Look at that! Another one I've not heard of before, and it's, what is it? Soon, is that The Soon in Splendour or The Sun in Splendour? I think it's The Soon in Splendour by Shannon Penman. It's a book I've not heard of before, but it's historical fiction about Richard III, and I'm into my history and I'm into my historical fiction, so I thought that might be a good read for me. I was a bit kind of intimidated by the size of it. Look at it! How many pages is it? Wow! Including the afterword, it's 1,237 pages. Just a little bit of light reading there. I'm planning a little trip in August where I'm either going to go to a festival if it happens, called Bloodstock, or see my friend, and whatever happens, providing we're still allowed to travel and stuff, and there's no third wave or whatever, I'm going to have 2 really long train journeys, so that might be coming with me for those. We're getting to the end of the physical books now. Next up is a hardback, and it was from my Fairy Loot subscription. It's my second month's box, and this is The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. I don't know a lot about this book other than it is gorgeous. Look at that. How pretty. But I know it's going to be YA fantasy, and I do love a bit of YA fantasy, so I'm looking forward to digging into that. And I really like that cover. Isn't it cool? It's kind of like one of those things, even if I hate the book, isn't the cover brilliant? I'm sure I love the book though. Don't worry. I'll tell you about it one day. So that's all my physical books, which is actually more than I thought I had. And that's not including the Goosebumps ones, so it's a bit worrying. But it does explain why I have no money now. So the what have I bought this week section for the next few weeks is going to be a bit empty. I should have saved some and pretended I bought them later on in the month. That's good thinking, Lou. Next time. But I figured all that wasn't enough, so I bought some cheapy ebooks as well. I got Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I bought the first Dragonlance book because I've been meaning to read Dragonlance for years, but I've always been intimidated about how many books there are. There's a ridiculous amount, but they're all broken up into like different trilogies and stuff. But I didn't know where to start. Does it matter which trilogy you pick up first? I don't know. But I found a blog post, which if I can find the link again when I post this, I'll put it in the description below, with a suggested reading order. And it suggested this one first, which is The Dragons of Autumn Twilight by Margaret Wise and Tracy Hickman. Picture. And yeah, I'm excited to read that. Don't know when I get to it because my TBR is ridiculous because I keep buying books. And the last book that I bought this week, which my bank account is very pleased that I've said that this is the last book I bought, is Windborn by Alex S. Bradshaw. And I'd be lying if I didn't say I bought it because the cover looks really cool. So that's all the stuff I've bought. And as I've reached the end of that, I've realised I haven't said what I was reading. So I've already broken my structure that I told you about at the beginning of the video. So what am I reading at the moment? I am reading Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and another Goosebumps book on Spotify, so I'm listening to it, is One Day at Horrorland. So now on to the last part of this vlog. This was like a really long vlog. The others aren't going to be this long. And that's Album of the Week. I've been on a bit of a power metal kick recently, so it seemed only right that I pick a power metal band and a power metal album for this segment. So I'm going to go for Memories of Old and their album The Zeramin Game. And I'm really sorry if I've pronounced that wrong. I'm going to say it's The Zeramin Game. Here's a little picture of the artwork. And I'll stick some links down below so that you can go and listen to it on Spotify, and you can buy it from their website and whatever else I can find. But one of the reasons I've chosen this album is it came out, I think, around a year ago. It's quite a while. And it's just been this has been one of the many albums that has been the soundtrack to my pandemic. Whenever I listen to it, it just really brightens my day. There's something about power metal that just makes you happy. So there we are. I'm sharing some happy music with you. Go and enjoy. So that is it. I am tired. That was a long video. And it's even longer than what you're seeing because there's a load of bits where I was just talking for no reason. Yep, it's a long video. I've just checked my watch. I've been here a long time. So, thank you very much for watching, and thank you if you stayed till the end. That's amazing. If you liked what I've done here today and you want to see me do this on a regular basis, please like and subscribe. If you want to follow me on social media, I'll stick some links down below. Thank you again. Bye!